All right, here we go. This is Coffee and Chat with Rev Bruce. This is another Saturday, another day where we get into it, another day where we talk about different things, trying to bring a little inspiration to you, trying to get a little motivation going on here, going online, streaming, making sure that you get the best of what we have to offer. And to go along with that, I want to make sure that I give some love to my people out there on give a little love to my people out there on Twitch. Hey y'all, this is it. Once again, we're having a good time. We are here, and I want to let y'all know that I am feeling. I'm feeling it. I'm loving being on Twitch. I'm loving being on Twitch, and so definitely much love to y'all, to my people on Facebook. Here we are, we're doing it, and we're talking about it. And today is just a little different. Today, going into the whole idea of fixing your finances. Finding ways to fix your finances, finding ways to get to what we would consider financial freedom, working on those things that help you as you move forward and deal with incidents in life. And so, this is just the reality, man. We are just out here dealing with the financial crisis, dealing with now finances and the markets going up, the markets drop down. People are chasing it. People are trying to follow Reddit and GameStop and all that. Hey, all that may work out for some people, but there's a big difference between, as I said before, trading, investing, and savings. And so I'm going to mention some people. Definitely got to give it up to my man, Gerald Peters. You need to check out Gerald Peters. Gerald Peters, blue collar millionaire. His thing is amazing. I love me some Gerald Peters, and Gerald is on it, and he is giving it away. He's giving away his books, Don't Die Broke. One of his books, he just put out another book on trading and investing. And so definitely give Gerald Peters some love. He is one of those guys that, like I said, he is for sure a genuine article where he is just trying to help people. He's reaching out and trying to help people. And so when we look at fixing our finances, man, I mean, looking at fixing our finances, we are actually talking about if you're overwhelmed, and you feel like you're underwater, might have lost a job, might have had a second job, lost that, or had cutbacks in your hours, whatever it might be. You might want to make some changes with your life. And these are the times where we can kind of look back and do some spring cleaning, as I would say, spring clean with your finances. And there's some things that are coming up that you definitely would want to do, right? There's some definite to-dos if you are in the position to do something about your finances. And here's some things we're looking at. We're looking at taxes. We're looking at extra income. We're looking at spending and budget. Looking at savings. And so I just want to go through some numbers with you. There's some things that we see here with the numbers that are just I don't know if I call them shocking, but they're the reality, right? And so this comes from a financial website that's everybody may not be familiar with, but I'll share it in the description later on. Americans have more than 1.2 trillion in personal savings. That sounds like a lot, 1.2 trillion in personal savings, but 69% of adult Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. All right, and so we'll come back to that. 69%. Nearly 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. The average household savings in America, you're at about $16,000. Okay, 54.29% of those aged 45 to 54 have no savings. That's my people. 45 to 54, no savings, right? 22% of Americans have less than $5,000 saved for retirement. Can you imagine that? Less than $5,000 saved for retirement. The personal savings rate in the U.S. was at 7.9% in November 2019. You'll see some other figures as we go forward that hit what it was at November and December 2020. 23% of Americans can't afford to spend $100 in an emergency situation. That means if something breaks, something goes bad, and they need to get a light switch repaired or something else, it's not going to happen if it costs over $100. And just 30% of Americans have a financial plan that includes savings. So what that means is we're talking about people that may have income, but they don't have savings. People that may have, dollars that they have, set aside for entertainment, set aside for getting their hair done, haircuts, whatever it may be, leisure activities, right? Like I play golf, right? So some people may play golf every weekend, right? And they have money set aside for that. They may have a boat, RVs, trucks, Speedos and all that stuff, and Sea-Doos, and going, to the river and all that other stuff. They may have that and may be able to afford that. And some folks just don't even have anything saved, right? And so those are the numbers that we have right now. And then some more numbers that may be of interest to you are here. Boom. This is more stats. This is from debt.com. Right, it talks about the average household spends 56% of their food budget on groceries and 44% on dining out. All right, and so imagine what that is now during the pandemic. But we're talking about people, still finding ways to get it delivered. DoorDash, Postmates, all that stuff, Uber Eats, and so think about that as spending. Right, how much you spend for making a meal versus how much you spend for having a meal prepared and delivered to your house or eating out. And so those things never add up, right? And in December 2020, the personal saving rate, I mentioned this before, in the United States amounted to 13.7%, up from 12.9% in November. So remember, this is in the midst of a pandemic, particularly while some people are still in quarantine, others are not in quarantine. Different places in the United States had different quarantine status. And at that time, when people were in the midst of this pandemic, their spending was less, right? Less retail shopping, less money on dining out because people are, restaurants aren't open, Think about the type of spending that was limited based upon this pandemic. And so with that, that's why you see the major increase in savings rates, but that's not widespread for everybody, okay? Also, of those who say their household financial situation has gotten worse since the pandemic began, 45% say they've taken on debt because of it. The same proportion, 45%, say they took money from savings to pay for bills and necessities. Now, think about this. More than a quarter, 27% of Americans with household incomes under $50,000 say their household financial situation has gotten much worse since the onset of the pandemic, versus 12% of household incomes of $100,000 or more. To cope, some Americans have taken on debt, 45%, credit card, medical, or otherwise, or withdrawn money from savings to pay bills or necessities, 45%. The survey found. This is from NerdWallet, a very credible source when it comes to personal finances. And so what does this mean? What are we talking about? We're talking about simply looking at the situation of many people with personal finances. Some people just want to fix something, right? They just want to fix their personal financial situation, and that's perfectly good. And you should be commended for that. And think about it. A lot of what I'm sharing comes from, like I mentioned, Gerald Peters. Gerald Peters is definitely, um, like I said, the guy that I look to. Dave Ramsey, he's definitely one who also shares some things. And so when I mention these people, I'm not trying to sell anything they've got going on. I'm not trying to, offer you anything that, that I'm going to get rich off of as an affiliate or anything. I'm just saying these are reputable people that I look to when I look at personal finance on YouTube and other sources. And so Gerald Peters, definitely get his book Don't Die Broke. I would definitely suggest that. And I just shared Gerald Peters' link on the science of getting rich, and that actually is pretty cool. It breaks down a lot of different things, and coming from there, also, you got to look at people like Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a, we say like financial guru, but Dave Ramsey is definitely one who speaks to, I'm reading one of his books right now, More Than Enough. Dave Ramsey also has Financial Peace, which was a great book that I read from a Christian perspective that deals with how we handle money, how we look at money, and what are some things that we can do. Dave's baby steps, definitely the baby steps. I include part of that, including the debt snowball and what we're talking about today. And so as we get through this, we really want to talk about what are some things you can do. What are some things you can do? And so here are some things that you can do. We'll just call it spring cleaning, right? And one of the things you can do is take advantage of available help, right? Submit your taxes early this year. Try to get them done before the end of March, right? You don't have to wait till April 15th or apply for an extension. Get them done before the end of March. And many people have waited to do their taxes and extension after extension. Now you've missed a stimulus check, right? That others have gotten. You've missed some other opportunities. And so think about that and set aside a portion of your stimulus check whenever it comes. If it comes, you set aside and you qualify, set aside 10% of that, and put that in a liquid savings account. You can use Ally, Stash, Aspiration. I use multiples of those. Check out NerdWallet and The Balance, Motley Fool. See what they recommend as what would be considered high yield savings accounts. I say high yield savings accounts simply because you want to look at how much your money is earning, right? And if you're not going to touch it for a while, if you're trying to grow it, definitely check out, high yield savings accounts. And those come in many different forms. Some come with fees, and some come with low to no minimum balances, but definitely look at it. There are multiple ways you can use those accounts to your advantage. And I say use those accounts to your advantage because if you're, even if you're earning money back as far as ATM surcharge rebates and things of that nature, definitely look at that. Stash has a special within their debit card where if you buy, I bought stuff at Target the other day with my Stash card, my Stash debit card. They have a stock payback program. And so with that, since I've spent money at Target, I got stock in Target. And so it's a little piece of it, but as I continue to shop at Target, as I continue to shop at Costco, buying gas, I'm gonna spend it anyway. And so why not get the stock? Why not get rebates? Why not get discounts? Think about that. Many people are making a killing off of credit card rebates and things of that nature. Think about it. See how it is working out and try to utilize that yourself. And going back to the stimulus check, Use the remaining funds strategically. Pay off a single credit card. Pay off a high-interest credit card. Conduct routine or preventive maintenance on vehicles used for transportation for work. If you know you're gonna need an oil change and some other stuff, get it done early with that stimulus check and get it out of the way before you're tempted to spend. Evaluate if other help is available. You might have job loss. There may be some other pandemic impacts, and these may come in the form of rebates, discounts. My auto insurance, they just reverse funds to my account because of a calculation that they made based upon the impact of the pandemic on me driving or not. Those things are out there. Check and see if that's what your insurer offers, or talk to your insurance broker, your insurance agent, and see what else they might have available. There's plenty that you can do, right? And so let's start here. What are some things that are right in your hands that you can do to make this better for yourself? I would say number one, stop spending, right? Stop spending on extras for the next 21 days. That's 3 weeks, right? And just say, hey, man, if you order that Audible, through Amazon, and you haven't listened to any of those audiobooks, cut that off. I mean, just cut it off. You're not doing it. If you got that subscription to a magazine that you haven't read and it still keeps coming, don't renew that, right? If you have a gym membership, haven't been to the gym, you're not going to wear a mask and do all the social distancing and other requirements at the gym, then don't go to the gym. Limit your spending and cut that off, and limit your spending on gifts for anniversaries, birthdays, baby showers, right? You can't give somebody all of what you're earning in the form of acknowledgement. Sometimes you might just have to send a card, okay? And think about it. Be creative. And the other part of it is do it for 21 days and see if you can extend it for 30 days. You can do it for 1 month, right? See if there might be something that you do for the entire spring, right? Cut the cable, right? Go with YouTube TV or another service. You don't need come on, how many channels do you need? And the options that are available out there are so great. Roku, Apple TV. I love Pluto TV. I mean, that has different options, great channels that I like for things that I follow. Try it out. And most of these are app-based, and you're saving money because you're not paying a subscription, and it's just your internet, okay? And set a strict budget for your necessities, okay? Identify what you need, create a budget, a written budget, and include what you need to set aside for, gas and groceries. Create a allowance for that, okay? And so these are basic, financial things that you can do right now, right, that can allow you to move forward and get more control over your finances. What you want is to be in charge of your finances. You want to be in control, and you want to have, you want to ultimately say, hey, this is where I want to go with my finances. This is what I want to do. And, you want to have that control over the money that you have. And when you have it, you want to make sure that your money is working for you, right? And so that's the point of the high yield savings account. Make sure that your money is working for you and that it's growing. That's the whole point of when you set aside funds between now and when you need them, that they collect interest. That should happen, and that doesn't always work out when you just have a standard checking account. So after we stop spending money, we should start saving something. Start saving something. The Bible tells us to go to the ant, right? And to see that, and that's in Proverbs 6, right? And we should see that the ant without a supervisor, the ant does work, the ant does things and sets aside things for another time, and they have a surplus. So later on, right, when they need things, those things are, they're able to tap into and pull from those resources. And so the Bible tells us, go to the ant, right? And like I said, that's Proverbs 6, verses 6 through 8. And check it out. It's logical. It's something that we see in nature. It's something that we see, and we ought to be able to recognize it and know it for what it is. And I think that that's part of where we can begin to have people see more and recognize more of what they can do with their own personal finances. So, save 10% of that stimulus check if you qualify. Save 10% of your regular paycheck if you're still employed. Like I mentioned before, check with NerdWallet, The Balance, Motley Fool, even Kiplinger's Personal Finance for other ways to, one, simplify. Limit your luxuries. Even if you do it on a short term, no new clothes for the spring, right? Just say, hey, I'm not going to buy any new clothes. Not even a new shoestring, right? Just say, hey, what I have right now, and I'm going to manage that. Take an inventory of your closet, see if you have clothes that you can mix and match. And, I'm sure your clothes from the previous season aren't that worn out. And those that are, work with a friend that might be a seamstress or something. Talk to somebody that can, touch up your garments, whatever might be the case. Use Woolite. Hey, it might happen. You might be doing better off. Sacrifice, like I mentioned, the TV and cable, free Wi-Fi, books online, free PDFs of books. Go e-books rather than print books and save. Read the newspaper and headlines. Don't buy the newspaper. Don't buy the Wall Street Journal. Read it and read it online. Get the newsletter. Get the daily tips and tidbits that may come through following a online subscription as opposed to a print subscription. That can cut savings right there. Get your bank statements. Just have e-statements. Eliminate paper statements. Eliminate your paper tax documents from your brokerage accounts, savings accounts, banks, things of that nature. And that way, they don't charge you any fees. And allow your savings to accumulate until you have at least $1,000 cash stashed, right? You want that cash stash, right? The cash stash, in my opinion, is something that will allow you to get in a position to where you will have your money ready and liquid. And I mean that because you can use a debit card, you can do transfer, right? You can do bill pay, you can do Zelle, right? You want to have options for your money. Your money should be under your control. That's the basic of all of this. Your money should be under your control. And when I say that, that's going to sound like it should be the way it is, but it isn't always the way it is. Because if you have more money going out than you have coming in, your money is not under your control. And if you don't know where your money is going, there are numerous apps that you can use to track your finances, to track your spending. But if you're all over the place, right, you gotta rein that in. You gotta rein that in. And that's part of what we look at when we talk about personal finance. Personal finance also requires personal responsibility, and you be responsible for your finances and manage that. And so get that cash stash to $1,000 as rapidly as you can. That's one of the milestones that Dave Ramsey puts out for people to reach, and then continue saving until you have that 3 to 6 months expenses saved in a high yield liquid account. Like I mentioned, you need to have a liquid account where you can either have a debit card attached to it, check writing, bill pay, Zelle, anything you can transfer to it. This is not going to be the same account that you would have for, let's say you were doing online business or anything like that, which I'm about to get into. This is not the same where you're putting everything into a PayPal account or everything stacked up in Cash App, right? Venmo and things like that. Think differently and think about your money. We'll go back to another strategy, the bucket strategies. Think about the buckets. And so as you think about a high yield savings account, this is something that you may set aside, right? And you're just funneling funds there in case of an emergency, okay? In case of an emergency. And I say that because I'll take you to the text that's from the Bible, Ecclesiastes, chapter 11. It's chapter 11, verses, chapter 11, verse 2. It says it just like this, take it and understand it. This is the way it reads. Boom. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land, right? That's the NIV version. There are numerous versions that say different things, but when we look at this, when we look at Ecclesiastes, right, 11 and 2, right, we are seeing that we're supposed to diversify, right? We're supposed to diversify by getting our funds into different places, and we do that by having our funds in separate accounts, right? And so it says 7, if not 8, right? And I love the way it says it in the New Living Translation, which is another simple read for those that aren't into the thee and thous and begets and begots and all those things that hitherto's of the King James Version. This just simply says it like this, right? It says, but divide your investments among many places, for you do not know what risks might be ahead, right? Nobody could predict the effect of Reddit on GameStop and AMC. AMC is dead, right? And think about it. They played the game of power and pressure on the market, and that cost a lot of people who were following along money, because when you look at most accounts on Robinhood are margin accounts. So when you say you transfer $30 there and that $30 is available to you instantly, that's available to you on margin, right? And those look at the details of your account. Most Robinhood accounts are in a margin agreement account. That's not like just a regular brokerage account where it's a cash-based account, and based upon the cash that you have on hand, you are making trades. And so keep that in mind. That's different. And so you don't know the risks that lie ahead when somebody pushes the pressure into the market, like what happened with GameStop and Reddit, what happened with AMC. Nobody's going to the movie theaters like that in the middle of a pandemic. That's crazy, right? Why do you think they're releasing all these shows on Prime and HBO Max and Disney Plus? Because people aren't going to the movies like that, and they don't want to lose their money. That's why all these Paramount just opened a channel, and all these other people are opening channels. Hulu is expanding, Netflix, and all of these folks are expanding their offerings on TV, because who in the heck is going to the movie theater Why are you investing in AMC right now? And so, boom, they put pressure on the market, and that thing did what it did. And a lot of people weren't anticipating the risks that were involved with other people, right? Emotionally and whatever, how they're driven to purchase in the market, and boom, that thing blew up. And it locked up a lot of people's accounts because, like I said, Robinhood is primarily margin-based accounts. And so when we look at this and we look at a financial situation, there's so much that we can do, right, with this. And so I say, be sure that you understand the status of your accounts. And so that's where that advice comes from as far as dividing your portions, and definitely take that into account. And finally, I want to share this. This is about spring cleaning, where you can start paying off debt, right? And I say that because you might have student loans, you might have credit cards, you might have refied in the midst of this pandemic, you might have had home improvements, whatever might be the case. Use a proven method to pay off debt. You know, if it's the debt snowball from, Dave Ramsey, if it's consolidating debt, whatever it may be. Look at it and get help where you can, and get advice where you can. And if that advice fits your situation, apply it, right? If it doesn't fit your situation, then it's not for you. All the financial advice that's out there isn't for you. And so know what may have worked for your neighbor, what may have worked for your auntie, it may not be for you. And so keep that in mind. Your situation is still specifically your situation. Look for free credit counseling if that's available in your area, and if that's applicable to what you got going on. Use at least 20% of your income to pay off debt, right? You can look at different strategies, the 50, 30, 20. There's also 40, 40, 20, and some other strategies where you break up and you set up things, the envelope method. If you're really cash based, the envelope method works. But if you go into a lot of these places, right? If you go into a lot of these businesses, they are not primarily cash oriented anymore. I went to a place the other day, stopped in, and the sign said exact change or use your debit card, right? How many people are sitting there with $5.66, right? And so that's not usually the case. And so that's how it works. People will swipe their card, they'll use their Google Wallet, they'll use their Apple Wallet, whatever it might be the case, and go from there. It's not really, the envelope system may not work for you if you're really trying to go to places that are no longer dealing with cash and they're moving towards contactless transactions. And so you may have to adjust that, but I think it's still a good system as far as divvying up where funds should go and how they should go. And set up a bill paying time. When is your bill paying time? If you get paid twice a month, boom, break that thing up, and you got your early part of the month bills, and then your end of the month bills. And then if you get paid once a month, you really have to be disciplined. When I worked for another school district, everybody got paid on the 10th. And after the 10th, between the 10th and the 15th, you're writing those checks, sending out those bills and paying things. And so having the discipline will have to come out based upon how your income is structured. And here we go. Make sure you pay it on time. At least try it for the next 6 months, because that impacts your credit score. And in some cases, as you pay off debt, you'll also have the potential for getting an increase in credit. And that doesn't mean you have to use it. It just means that it improves your credit because you have more available credit. We can talk about that at a later time. And then pay more than the minimum amount due when you can, right? If the minimum amount due is $14.65 and you can spare $20, pay $20, right? If you can pay 25, pay 25. Knock that down, because a lot of what you're paying, right? A lot of what you're paying with credit cards is interest, right? And so knock that down, knock that out, get that bad boy moving, and keep pushing. And what I really want you to look at is right here, right? I'm a firm believer that we need to add streams of income, right? We need to add streams of income, right? And so Robert Allen, famous for No Money Down and things of that nature, he also did multiple streams of income. Just got through fooling around, dealing with that the other day, and looking at it and taking in some of his advice from years ago. He's also got multiple streams of internet income, right? I've talked about it on this show here. Even Gerald Peters mentioned some stuff about it. It's fundamental. It's great, because going back to the bucket strategy, if you have multiple streams of income, then when we look at that Ecclesiastes 11:2, when there is damage being done in the real estate market and you've invested in flipping houses and all these other things and mortgages, then boom, if you have income coming from another stream that's not impacted by the real estate market, you can make shifts to where you can rebalance and counter attack what is happening in the real estate market. If you're heavily invested in bonds and interest rates are attacked and inflation is eating away at that, and the Federal Reserve hasn't made a move, you can still go back to your dividend paying equities and reinvest in the dogs of the Dows. That's what Gerald Peters talks about, dog power. When he talks about dog power, he's talking about investing in the dogs of the Dow, the high yielding stocks of the Dow Jones, and those in high yielding stocks then become your power source for reinvested income, and they also become another income source for you. Think about it. And so you can do something with this. And let me run through this, and I'm going to give you a lot more on this as we continue spring cleaning throughout different segments of Coffee and Chat later on. And I want you to get this. I just did a session where I sat in on a lady who is definitely doing some things, Arlene Johnson, and she did an amazing job on talking to us about bringing in secondary income, but reselling, going on Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, all these different places, eBay, where you can do everything from household items, clothing, and collectibles to tools and sports equipment, and earn extra cash while decluttering your storage space in your garage. I'm going to be on the garage today and look at some stuff and see what I can polish up, take some pictures of, put it online, and hey, get rid of it. Golf clubs. I got more golf clubs than I play often. And so, hey, if I don't need 3 sets of golf clubs, and so maybe one of those golf clubs sets, maybe that gets passed on, sold off, and, extra income, right? It may not be the value that you paid for it, but it is the value that can help you with extra cash, as well as relieve you of, here is something that's taking up space that I'm going to get to it someday. Someday is the enemy of people who procrastinate. Listen, that's me. I'm in trouble at home right now. Someday has got me in trouble more than once, right? Because I'm gonna get to that. And stop it, do something with it, put it away, go through it later, refine it later, but get the mess out of the way, right? I'm vowing to do it and make it happen. That's my public stance. And so God help me if the lightning strikes anytime soon, but I'm trying to do this. And so clear it up, resell it. You might have some hidden gems in there that people may want. You may have some clothing that you don't think is of any value anymore, but other people are using it. Amazing. Sell something of some value. You got a second car, you got an RV, dirt bikes, pool table. Even if the stuff isn't running, you still may be able to sell it and sell it for a decent price to get rid of the headache, get rid of the fees attached to it, to get rid of the idea of having to fix it up. Somebody may want it just for parts, right? Turn your hobby into a hustle, right? If you love photography, you got a photography equipment, and you love doing, action shots, contract with somebody and see about, taking pictures for their golf tournament, taking pictures for, when they have their, little motocross events. Also, think about it like this. If you love doing still shot photos of having people posing and things of that nature, what are you doing? Take your camera, make some money, turn that hobby into a hustle, right? If you love gardening, are you teaching others how to garden with a YouTube channel or a blog or, e-course? Are you using your skills to bring in extra income? I just got done this morning writing 2 articles for clients on websites that, that somebody wants a blog, somebody wants a description of, a tourist attraction, somebody wants a description of a golf course. Okay, no problem. Do the research, rehash the information, put it in the context that is conversational and people will enjoy reading it, and boom, submit it, wait until it's approved or they ask for more edits and get paid, right? That's part of it. Take on a second job, find one that has flexibility, Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, Postmates, Amazon Flex. All these have different flexibility. Take on a seasonal job, right? Whatever might be the case, but do that and get extra income and then utilize that strategically to attack debt, to increase savings, and to give you greater flexibility. Put a portion of that towards your retirement. Put a portion of that towards, your self-employed income tax, and put a portion of that towards your savings. And do more than one thing to create multiple streams of income. Listen, I'm here on YouTube. I had an Amazon Associates account. It wasn't really working out, and what happened? I made like a couple of sales, and what they do? They deposited 13 cents, right, into my account. But guess what? That was 13 more cents than I had before. And that also teaches me the lesson that, well, okay, if I put more effort into it, if I extend my work within the affiliate marketing program that I'm working with, and I do a different program that may work out on a different level, then how much more could I be, winning with that? And so I want you to understand, these are some people that I need you to keep in mind, right? We talk about this when we, research them, Google them, do what you got to do. These people are in the realm of sharing some serious advice for if you want to get your money right, get some things going. Gerald Peters, definitely, like I said, one of the people that I'm pushing. Gary V, definitely, entrepreneur and social media influencer. Even with the game card trading, I got game cards that I'm about to, try to hook up and see if I can do some trading, because Gary V, among other people, have brought that back. Dave Ramsey with More Than Enough and Financial Peace. And so look at these different things and see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it because guess what? I'm doing it. I got my own, I'm doing multiple things. I got my own book, that I published in 2008, and it's still available, right? It's still available because that is, that's what's happening, right? I mean, I didn't take it off the market, and so check it out. The ebook is still the price from when I said it in 2008, and so right now, if you actually um, buy any of my ebooks, any of my books that I have in print, right, and you see that those are something to your liking, definitely, right, definitely buy that, because what I'm doing now from March until April, I'm giving 20% of the profits back to help fight poverty in my local community, and another half of that is going to Feeding America and trying to do something there. And so, listen, if you make a purchase, that's something more than what I had before. And to me, I'm like, why not utilize that to give back? And in the same breath, I am still working and working on other stuff, right? I've got, my blogs, most of y'all have heard and read and seen that I've been talking about it, check out the blog. I'm doing the thing with the Bible study online, right? And I'm doing some things right here where I'm trying to get some love out to some people and share the gospel in a different way via multimedia. Definitely check that out, because I'm trying to share this in a manner in which God's given it to me, and I'm trying to do this to be honest with people. And I've got a golf blog, which is, ain't nothing wrong with that. I play golf, and I've been trying to break 90. For y'all that play golf, y'all know what I'm talking about. Breaking 100 is bad enough, but breaking 90 is another level. And so for me, this is my journey in breaking 90. And in breaking 90, I have, been able to do it pre-pandemic, coming back during the pandemic. I've still had I've had some struggles, but guess what? Like I always say, I'm a better writer than I am a golfer. So you may just enjoy the writing that I'm doing on the blog. I'm definitely being more consistent with it. And, I have about, honestly, 4 blogs that I have and 2 that I do consistently. But I really want to share this with you too from one of my prior blogs. This is simply some things I wrote about financial freedom in the past, and just take some ideas from there. I will definitely be talking some more about side hustles and how to make the most of the funds that you have available. And I'll add in the description later today on YouTube, as far as my stash account and other accounts where you can get, Stash will give you $20 if you sign up, right? You know what I'm saying? And why wouldn't you take free money? When I signed up, I got free money with Stash when I signed up for my account, and that was cool. I was like, all right, cool. They backed up what they said. They came through, and they made the offer, and I got my money. And I'm not mad at them. But here goes the other thing, and I'll put the Stash thing up right now. Here goes the other thing to go along with that, man. You're not gonna go on Robinhood. Go on Robinhood and check it out. Robinhood will give you a free stock when you sign up. You didn't have it before. Why are you tripping right now? You know what I'm saying? And here it goes, my man, Dr. V. Talk to me, right? Look what he's talking about, right? This is, money flow game, right? We got the money flow game, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? But you know what I'm saying? I'll go along with that. Dr. V, what I can't help you with is breaking 120, right? You know what I'm saying? You just got to spend more time, and we'll work on that later. You know, we can get that down to 100 real quick. But it's all love. And I say that because if you take this time right now and look at what you have available to you and what all you got going on, you'll recognize that out of all this stuff that's happening, you can get more stuff under your control than you have to sit there and cry and complain and bemoan and boo-hoo. You can do more now than probably in any other time because there's so many opportunities to be, independent of just being stuck as all I can do is bake cakes, right? I showed you Miss Brown Sugar, Rose, baking them cakes, and that was her love, and now that's her gig, that's her job. She's meeting celebrities, she's doing stuff, and she's working, baking those cakes. Look at that. That's working out for her, right? What of your hobby that you do could be working out for you? You like to sew, sew those masks and sell those masks. Put that thing on Etsy. Put that thing on Redbubble. Are you a hashtag expert? Turn those hashtags into t-shirts. Turn them into wristbands, whatever the heck, headbands, right? Create a new trend, right? But get your hustle on, right? Get and do that and get out of the dependence that you have on someone else to say you're good enough and you're okay, and here's your paycheck for the 20 hours that you did this week, and make sure you clock in next week. Come on, man. Get out of here with that, right? The goal is to be financially free, where you can make choices and have some options, and you can do the thing that you love. Sometimes doing the thing that you love is working for somebody else, and sometimes it's working independently and having all of this autonomy to where you can do things on your own. And so trust me, I know it. I understand it. Find your passion and your purpose and let that drive you. And you don't have to sit back on the weekend and just binge watch, right? You don't have to do that and just simply take stuff in and waste time. You can actually cut that down, right? I love TV, but I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours and take it all in. I need a break. I need to get up and move. Come on out. And so if I'm actively engaged in the thing that is challenging me in my mind, I'm in it. And if I'm actively engaged in the thing that is right there that can put me in a position to have, to have more than what I've had before, I am for it, and take this from my good friend, Dr. V, right? Here he is in the comments. What did he say? Invest and hold, right? Buy and hold, right? Learn that, get that life insurance, right? And do that thing where you can find that big why in your life, right? Get that big why in your life, right? And, to be financially free, right? What's holding you back? Is it debt? Is it student loans? Is it because you just haven't had a conversation about money with your spouse? Is it, listen, nobody's going to believe in you until you open up and are vulnerable and share what it is that's on your heart, what's your passion that you want to do, and where you want to take that. Because if you don't share the vision, it's going nowhere. You got to share the vision so that those that hear it can run with it and go with it. You can't be a social media influencer if you're a wallflower. You got to get out there. You got to put those pics up. You got to get in the DM somebody. You got to get in there and engage. That's what social media influencers do. You can't be a social media influencer and you got one TikTok video out there. You ain't influencing nothing. You're just sitting there and you've made a contribution, but you're not influencing anything. You got to make an investment, a commitment. And if that's really what you want to do, find out who's supporting that. Find out who's sponsoring that. For my people on Twitch, you're a gamer, you're a streamer, are you doing game reviews, right? Are you doing product reviews on, the latest gaming mouse or gaming chair, headsets, right? Get these equipment sponsors to sponsor you and your stream and all that, and then keep pushing it as you get your Twitch followers up, right? Love y'all. Listen, this has been Coffee and Chat with Rev Bruce. Listen, this is what I talk about. This is trying to inspire somebody, trying to get somebody up and get somebody thinking beyond where you are today. You have so much more potential than you're giving yourself credit for. You may be holding yourself back, right? Don't let your culture, don't let your background, don't let saying I grew up broke, I grew up poor, and all this other stuff, and my daddy didn't save anything, my mama didn't save anything. Break the cycle, man. Be something different. Extend it beyond where others have carried it before, and you snatch that torch up. You snatch that torch up, and you march on and do your thing, even if it's to a different drum. All right? Hey, y'all, this has been all of what I can offer you today. God bless. Have a great day. Be at peace. Ciao.